talking about bikes, but I figured out like, yo, let's just throw this shit up on the podcast, man. What's good, my brother?
Man, I've been like doing a deep dive on mountain bikes, different brands,
Yeah.
styles, frames. I'm trying to figure out the different sizing options. YouTube has one
Mm-hmm.
thing, and then all these other different bike places have another one. I've got my measuring tape. I've got a yardstick. I'm trying
Yep.
to get everything down to like
Mm-hmm.
the millimeter.
Uh,
That's what I've been doing
Real
up to
quick though,
3 in the morning.
why would you need a yardstick, John? The yardstick
Shut
is
up.
taller than you, brother.
That's what I beat
That's
my
not
kids with.
that's not accurate. That's not accurate
I'm gonna go get the damn
for
yardstick.
your
It's right there
dude.
in the
Like,
corner of this office.
dude, let me tell you. So I measured my inseam yesterday, and I looked up like a YouTube video because I was like, I've never measured my own inseam. You know what I mean? When I've had suits fitted and stuff like that, they
Yeah.
always do that shit themselves. So like one dude, like it was like a video, was like he puts the spine of a book by his balls, right, by his crotch, and then you measure from the foot to like the spine of the book. I was like, all right. So I did that. It was like 33 inches. And then what was it? The first time I did it, because my wife did it, she, we did it the wrong side. Then we did the book thing. Then it was like the first time was 29, then it was 33. I was like, yo, like how, like, okay, so I got to figure that out. Then I'm trying to figure out like bike heights to find out if like the giant Talon 29 2 that I'm looking at buying is the right height for what I want. You know what I mean? And then now you just told me about this whole other website. So I'm just trying to figure. I'm trying to figure out what the fuck to do. Like, because it's look. Let's be honest, right? Like, it's a big purchase, right? So it can't just be
Yeah.
taken all casual because we don't have that kind of income where we could just be like, all right, fuck it, $5,000. You know what I mean? And have somebody custom make it and move on. Like that's not real life for most people, right? Like 99% of people. So I don't ever want to approach it that way. So and it's a big purchase, but I am lucky enough to be able to afford a solid starter bike, quote unquote,
Yeah.
that's still mad expensive. You know what I mean? It's crazy to think of seven, eight, $900 as a starter bike if you want to get into mountain biking. But like I'm conscious of, you know what I mean, and real shit. Like I'm conscious of like my size. You know what I mean? I'm 6'2", 310, 315 pounds, depending on my breakfast. You know what I mean? Like it's
What kind of
so
fucking breakfast are
yeah,
you
that's
eating,
right.
man?
Hey
Jesus.
man, sometimes I get real hungry and have like 12 eggs, bro. Don't fucking judge me. You know what I mean? But obviously not. But you're just like saying like my weight fluctuates. So I want to make sure I get a sturdy, solid bike. That's why I'm like hesitant to go with like Polygon from what I mean that you were talking about, like
Hmm.
a website like that, where or Bikes Direct, where like I really am Bikes Direct on their website in a little bit. Like I just want to be able to like to trust the brand, and maybe I'm
Right.
being a brand snob in that way, to trust what I'm purchasing as opposed to just like taking a chance. Like you've known about this shit for a long time because of Marlin, and you looked at it previously. Like this is all new information for me. That's why I'm
Hmm.
thinking of a brand. Just like, okay, this is a trusted brand, and I could choose them and move on. And then when I do learn about more shit, I could maybe custom build my own bike and buy a frame. You know what I mean, and do all that other
Hmm.
shit. But so I'm trying to figure that out.
Yeah, man. First of all, this is the third show in a row we've talked about mountain bikes. The last one I think we talked about for
Yeah,
like
and it
50
might be
minutes.
yeah. And we might do the same thing again. Listen, dude, we can only
Uh,
talk about
yeah.
politics and dumb shit so much. Like this is a hobby that we're really beginning to get into and shit. So fuck that.
Yeah, and I can't even.
Go ahead.
You say we're beginning to get into it. I mean, you're riding. I can't even ride out here because it rains for one day,
Yep.
and then they close the trails for 3 4 days because the
Mm-hmm.
ground here it gets so saturated that you don't want to mess up the trails. That's part of like following the etiquette and kind of the rules
Yep.
of riding because we have a huge metro park system here in Cleveland, and so there are people that they're doing or sharing the trails for hiking, for horseback riding, and for biking. And so if it
Oh
rains,
wow.
like they close them out to maintain the trails so that you can use them
Mm-hmm.
when the weather is nice. But having said that,
Yeah.
I still haven't done it. Like I'm riding my son's shitty Walmart bike, which by the way is a dual suspension bike, and I probably paid like one
Okay.
ten for it years ago. So, but I
Not
I
bad.
tested the suspension. I'm like, this shit isn't doing anything. Like it's not absorbing
Yeah.
anything. But it's just there for
No.
looks. It's a
Nothing.
Walmart bike. Having said
Yep.
that, that's the bike I'm gonna take on the trails for sure. And
Yeah.
I kind of want to beat it up. I kind of want to destroy it because then I can get him a new
Mm-hmm.
bike and get him into doing this
Yeah.
with me. And then
Then
I
you do it
can,
together, yeah.
and then I can tell my wife. By the way, that bike that I've been telling you about, the one that you snitched on me, the $2,100 bike. That on Facebook you're like, hey, your husband's trying to
Sure
get a
did.
$2,100 bike. I've
Yeah,
said that. I've said
yeah.
that
I
twenty one
posted it.
hundred times. I'm trying to. I'm like, and this is how I say it. I say, hey, baby, this it's only a 2,100. It's only a $2,100 bike. Like this is a hell of a deal.
Yeah,
Look at all these other bikes, and then I just show her like the seven, six,
yeah.
five, $4,000 bikes. I'm like, this is a steal, and that's how I'm
You know
framing
what you should have?
my pitch. That's my
You
message.
should have done. You should have shown. You should have shown her solely the e-bikes. And like, look at these 14. Look, $2,400. This isn't that bad. Look at these $15,000 bikes. Like I'm saving us money, babe. Like
That's
I'm
right.
thinking of us here. Yeah,
So that's how I'm
dude,
framing it.
e-bikes are
That's
so
my
crazy.
pitch.
That's like a whole. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing that I haven't even like looked into because I was like, that's way out of my a comfortable tax bracket like that. I'm not trying to have a car payment for a bicycle, sir. That's not, you know what I mean? 14 grand, 15 grand. Dude, there's $20,000 bikes, $30,000 bikes. Like, no, I'm not fucking with any of that. That's insane to me.
Now there are like $800, $1,200 e-bikes, not mountain bikes, but just
Yep.
like commuters to get they go 20, 30, 40, 50 miles. Um, they're
Mm-hmm.
probably not a brand you've heard. A lot of them are maybe like Chinese brands, and that's the crazy thing. You mentioned it earlier. You go to you have to take like your size and your weight into consideration, and you don't want to get
Mm-hmm.
a brand you've never heard of. And Giant is a brand that people have like immediately when you start searching mountain bikes, you see Giant and you see Specialized, and so like
Yep.
that they own
And maybe a
Google
little bit of Trek.
and Trek, and then
Yeah.
Cannondale that fell off. They used to be bigger in the '90s,
Yep.
and those other brands. I mean, hell, Schwinn used to be a quality bike, and
Yep.
now they just make Walmart bikes. But yeah, so they own Google, right? They
Yep.
own the Google search, and you're like, damn, I haven't heard of this other brand. I don't know if I go with this, if the frame is gonna last. I don't know what kind of
Mm-hmm.
warranty Giant has. I want to say they have a lifetime warranty on their frame, but I could be wrong. Like Polygon has a 5 year warranty on that frame, so if anything happens to that frame, you have 5 years, and they'll send you a new one. Um, so yeah, so
Right.
that's something you gotta be worried about. But for me, I've been comparison shopping everything, everything. Like the little Suzuki that we have,
Mm-hmm.
we were thinking about getting probably an Accord, and I was like, nah, I'm good. Suzuki makes motorcycles. Who the fuck knew Suzuki made cars? I mean, I knew, but they made shitty cars. They made cars that lasted for a year and then they break down.
Yeah.
But it took a month
Yep.
of
Yep.
research
Yep.
to
Yep.
realize that was their first car that was really good. Just like when I bought my Sonata, the Hyundai. You remember Hyundai? Hyundais were shitty cars. I know you know. I
Yep.
remember.
Yep.
Like their
Yeah.
windows
I
would
remember.
stop
My
rolling,
mom had a
working.
Hyundai.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember.
We had a
And
gold Hyundai back in the day.
yeah,
Yep.
but in '06, '07, they started making them in the States, and the quality changed. And they were still Korean cars, but they just changed. And even the ones that
Mm-hmm.
get imported here from Korea, it's just the entire brand changed how they approach making cars. And I knew at that point I'm gonna get a Hyundai, and that car lasted me up until the only reason I don't have it anymore is because it got totaled because some crazy methed out fucking person doing 90 spun me off the freeway and totaled my car. And even then, nothing happened to the car, but like the insurance company, you know how they are. They're like, "No, we'd rather give you this shit sum of money than replace your car." And so that's how I am with bikes,
Yeah.
with computers, with
Buy
everything.
your
Like
own
I
fucking.
find alternatives that are viable, and that's how I found Polygon, and that's how I like found Bikes Direct years ago, and now Bikes Online. And it's different for me,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I'm, not quite 6'2", not quite 310.
No,
I don't eat people's
not quite five.
firstborn babies for
Not
breakfast
quite.
where my weight fluctuates by 5 to 10 pounds.
Not
Like
quite.
I
You're
not
not.
quite.
You're not quite 5'2" either.
Oh, okay. No, you're right. I'm taller than that. But yeah, but the point
What,
is that that's how
what are you five?
I
No, what shit?
find
The five five
alternatives.
five six?
Man, thanks for giving me all that credit. I wish I was.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah. No problem. Brother. I got you.
that's
I know
why
you
that's
were.
why I
I know.
came along
5'4".
Polygon and those
But
bikes,
moving on.
man.
But yeah, comparison. Yeah. So I mean, we have a bike Yoda, right? Or yeah, we have a bike Yoda that we could talk to. Like, what would you think he would say if you were looking at Polygon, because he,
I'll tell you
you know,
this.
his initial conversation or advice was like, hey, spend 30,000 and just move on. You know what
I'll
I mean?
tell you this, and I
Forget
gotta
that
say this on
Martin's
air. Eric Biggie
rich.
Tank is a bastard. Like he doesn't miss a chance to throw short jokes or anything. He's like, no, more like 4'5".
Nope.
You said
Not
five
a,
four. He goes, no, no, more like 4'5". Like this dude is. That's my brother, my youngest brother. He's supposed to love
yeah.
me
Yes.
and you know he
Also the
have my
tallest.
back. I have his back, and he's
Admire
also the
you.
tallest.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that. He admires me
Yeah.
from afar, from like up here, looking down. Yeah, and he's the
Yeah.
first one. Like you'll throw a
No
joke out there,
competition.
and he's like, no, no, let me take it another step farther. I gotta embarrass my brother even more
Yeah.
than
That's
that.
right.
Ben isn't doing a good enough job.
Gang gang.
So Eric,
It's our
thank you.
boy,
I
man.
appreciate it. But
But yeah,
I think Marlon
four or
would
five
say
seems more accurate.
yeah, Marlon is um he's a fan of Giant, right? Because Giant is a
Knowledgeable.
proven brand.
Right.
Or Bike
Yep.
Yoda would say go with Giant because that's what I'm sure he's had other
Hmm.
bikes and he knows about other bikes. Like he was telling me about Diamondback, which one of his friends was riding. Again, it's a known brand. They make good bikes,
Hmm.
but they're not. I don't know. Not the bike themselves. It's the parts that they put. It's not the bike, right? It's just
Yep.
the components of the bike. Like he's like, well, it's a good bike,
Of course.
but it
Yeah.
doesn't have this brand or this type of suspension or not quite
This
up to
type of shock
snuff.
or
Yeah,
this
yeah.
type of break. Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
not that they're good. They aren't good enough. I think it's just that they're not good enough for his standards, and I guess for the style of riding that he's
Right.
doing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
Hmm.
eventually, I'm gonna get into some more uh, some of the more difficult trails. I'm gonna kind of. I used to
But
ride. I
you
used
got
to
to
do
get on the
stupid
trails
stuff as a
first.
as a young kid. Yeah, I used to do some stupid stuff with some shitty
Yeah.
bikes. So I'm comfortable on a bike.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable on a bike on like on off road terrain. But having said that,
Right.
I haven't done it in years. But yeah, I think that's where he comes at it from. He used to do flatland. He had a high end bike, and now he's into
Yep.
mountain biking and riding trails. And he rode trails in Missouri, which are a lot different than trails in Florida, more challenging, more technically
Yep.
challenging. So that's where
Hmm.
he's coming from. Uh, I was gonna call him a brand snob, but maybe that's just the brand that he knows. That's what he likes, and I think
Yep.
probably learned from past mistakes, right? Just like everyone else, where he's like, yeah, this bike is cheaper and it looks like what I want it to do, but then maybe it fails on him, whether it's a bike or whatever it is that you buy. And then some people just
Right.
realize, like, they're like, I'd rather just spend the money for a brand and then on something I'm not sure about that's cheaper because it's gonna cost
Yep.
me more in the long run. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No, definitely. I mean, it's yeah. No, absolutely. Like it comes with the like. Look, we've been sending each other fucking a ton of bike videos and reviews and people riding trails and one finger braking and two as opposed to two finger braking. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
how to handle when you're going downhill. Like all this different shit that I had no idea about. Like, look, it's not like I grew up riding bikes and stuff, but it's not like I don't remember going on like trails like that. You know what I mean? Like all the knowledge I have as far as bike is road and sidewalks. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
so smooth travel, smooth
Yep.
terrain. So that's a very different concept. But now when you get into, I mean, like going down trails and like doing these like man-made bridges that you know what I mean, going on around trees and shit that I
The
posted
single
on my
track. Yep.
Instagram before. Yeah, it becomes a totally different beast. You know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, you really got to trust your shit. Like I'm probably a good year or so away from feeling comfortable to do shit like that. You know what I mean? Where like I want to get out on the trails and hit it and see what's out here because there are some really good trails around here. Like, oh, I went to I'm gonna give them a shout out. I went to Village Cycle
Okay.
these last couple of days, like this past week, and they really good people, knowledgeable. It's like a husband and wife. One the husband runs one store, the wife runs the other. Everybody was nice, everybody was cool, and they gave me some advice. And they also gave me a new app. You know how you told me about MTB project? I think it
Yeah.
was that you
Yeah.
sent
That
me.
that app. Mm-hmm.
He, yeah, he told me about. I don't know if he had told me about it too. An app called All Forks, which is
Okay.
another app that tells you all the stuff around you. But yeah, man, like you got to get out there. Like, look, I returned my mountain bike, my Walmart bike, just because it was close to a $200 bike. I could use that money towards a bike I really want. You know what I mean? And it just it was already giving me issues. Like the suspension was already like starting to creak out. The chain was starting to. I was like, and I've only had the bike. Mind you, I haven't taken it anywhere. Like I'm literally. You seen my trail? Like you seen how I do? Like
Yeah,
it's mostly sand, a couple rocks, two or three roots, and then road. Right.
right.
So then, like it's not bad, but it's like if it already can't handle that, what happens if I'm going? If I have to make like a little jump over something? You know what I mean? Like that's my shit's just gonna crap out, and then I'm gonna have to walk it back all the way. So it's like I'd rather just, and I had talked to my wife. I was like, look, I'd rather just invest in something, that yeah, it's a little bit more expensive or a lot more expensive, but I'd
Hmm.
rather I'd have the trust because it's a proven brand that I'm gonna have it. And then yeah, like years down the road, like I'll probably like start buying bits and pieces here, bits and components here, and build my own bike, like a whole DIY bike, because frames aren't that expensive. You know what I mean? I could build $1,000 bike over time, or $1,200, $1,500 bike with all the bits and with all the components that I want. But for right now, I think Giant is the way I'm gonna go. But I'm gonna look more into bikes online and check into Polygon, and we'll talk more than the 50 minutes or whatever we'll spend on it here. We'll talk about it more and we'll figure it out. You know what I mean? But like, dude, like Myth, right? Because you're Legend. Myth, Myth got himself a bike.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. You
So
sent me a picture of that bike.
he got himself a bike. That's that bike's sick, bro. So he's
That's a
out
legit.
there. He's
That's a
like, bro, I did
legitimate
one
bike.
mile. That's a legit bike. He was like, yo, I just did 1 mile and I almost died. The next day he was like, yo, I did 3 and I can't breathe. And he was like, because I don't know if he's doing trails. I don't know if South Florida's opened up yet. But he was like, and tomorrow I'm gonna do 10. I was like, dude, that's a huge leap from 3 to 10. Like
Yeah,
that's you know what I mean? Like, but like a lot of it, dude, like a lot of it is comfortability, if that's the word on a bike, and then understanding that your ass is gonna be sore. Like if you don't have a good saddle and you don't have good seat positioning, dude, yo, son, my ass was sore for days, bro. For fucking days. Like as soon as I would sit back on it, just like the the damn aligning of it was like I was like, yo, it's like fuck this, bro. I was like, that's
yeah,
why I was like, I can't. I'm not gonna spend money to buy a different saddle on a bike that I'm gonna return. So that's what made me pull the trigger. I'm just gonna take it back.
yeah, man. It's that's huge. I rode 3 miles with Javi. Javi's got a little like BMX style bike, and I was using Tony's
Right.
bike. And we have a lot of rolling hills here, so it's not flat like Florida, but we're riding through the neighborhood. Fuck, we're riding through people's yards. Some people have like gravel driveways or some shit. So anywhere that I can find tree roots and gravel, and I was like, hey, we're gonna hit that. Oh, that broken sidewalk, we're gonna hit that. Every rough patch
Yep.
we're hitting, and three
Yeah.
miles, bro, that was nothing. And fuck, my ass was hurting, and his seat was
Yeah.
rock hard. Like there's no ounce of cushioning on that seat
No good.
whatsoever. So that's one of the things. Like when you buy a bike, regardless of how much you pay, you can pay $3,000 for the bike. You're gonna have to buy a different saddle because those fucking seats are not.
Yeah.
They don't come made with comfort in mind at all.
No,
Like you gotta
dude,
buy
it's
a new
terrible,
saddle. You
bro.
gotta
It's
buy some bike shorts with padding in them because if not, you're
yep.
gonna be paying for that shit. Like a mile and a half into the ride, you're gonna be like, "Oh fuck, I got 15 miles left of this shit. I'm not gonna walk tomorrow."
Yeah, dude, like that's another thing. I think I sent you the video of that too. Like there was like 5 things to not have saddle ass or whatever it's called. Like
Yeah,
they do make the bike shorts with padding, and these are different riders. Like these are like the ones that were giving the advice were like the cross country. You know what I mean? Inline bikers or whether like these are like the Tour de France bikes. So it's a different thing. But
yeah,
dude, like I can't imagine like I imagine sitting down must hurt, but like if you're taking like bumps, you know what I mean. So like your ass is constantly bouncing on that
right.
seat. That has to be worse. You know what I mean. So I'm assuming like bike shorts like that are a thing that you have to purchase
Yeah, absolutely. Like
without with
like I
us
told you, we're
having a
riding.
good saddle.
Yeah, we're riding the. Even though we're riding in the city, like we're riding through. There's some rough patches that we find, and like not really people's yards, but just like some open lots, and there's you can
Right.
feel it. And even in like the sidewalk, that's like just some areas that maybe someone has broken sidewalk or whatever. Like you feel that shit. I'm like, damn.
Yep.
Like it makes sense to have those. One, upgrade your saddle, and two, the shorts with the padding. Even if you're not doing like a 100-mile road, whatever ride with a buddy, like
Right.
so imagine me trying to hit the trails for 8-mile loop or a 5-mile loop, and I'm gonna do it 2 or 3 times, 4 times, like hitting
Yep.
those roots, those bumps. And if I go with a bike that's not full suspension, so there's nothing in the back to kind of
Yep.
absorb that, which is why I'm considering
Yeah.
kind of paying a little bit more for my bike and getting something with a full suspension to kind of help absorb
Yeah,
some of those shot the shot.
I'm yeah, full suspension bikes are a little bit more. Like I think if I'm remembering correctly, I think like the giant one, I think it was the I think one was a Talon and the other one was like a Fathom or some shit. It
Mm-hmm.
was like 1,000 and 1,200. I think that was a
Yeah.
full suspension because the Talon 29.2 is a hardtail, right? So it's different. So it's not gonna so it's gonna be different than. So I was like, man, I gotta figure all this shit out. Like, and then learning the difference between a hardtail and a softtail, where like you have, you know what I mean? You got to know that. Then you got to know your full suspension. It's just so much shit, bro. Just so much shit. So it's a big purchase. So you really got to think about what you want.
Yeah, I think I have more wiggle room, right, where I can be like, I'm gonna go with a brand that's not Giant. I can go with something else
Yeah.
because again, like my height and my weight, and like I'm not gonna be making some crazy 8 foot, 10 foot jumps. But at the same time, if
No, no.
I'm taking some jumps and they're like 3 or 4 feet, like it's gonna take it's gonna take something like that, like a 10 foot jump, for me to put the amount of pressure um, on a bike
Yeah.
to cause the frame to really kind of give or put the frame, integrity at risk. So that's why I can say, well, I weigh 150 pounds, like, and I'm not making crazy jumps. I can afford to buy something that's not Giant. And we talked about this earlier. Like Giant makes frames for all these other bike brands. So that's one
Yeah.
of the things you
Yeah.
also have to consider. Like I'm paying, like it's good. Giant is the a known brand, and you can count to like have support. But at the same time, they're making
Right.
frames for all these other brands, and those brands just slap their name on there, but they charge less for the bike because it doesn't say Giant; it says something else on it.
Yeah. The
So
brand. Yeah.
those are
The
things to
brand
keep in
aspect
mind.
of it.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. Like I'm definitely still trying to figure out if I go hardtail or full suspension.
Hmm.
Softail obviously is not even a thing that I'm even thinking about. That's Marlon like immediately X that out the way. So I was like, all right, I'm not even gonna look into that. So I was
Oh,
like, I'm torn
you're
between
talking about the
hardtail and
rigid
full.
bikes, but the bikes that have no suspension at
Yeah,
all. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I'm trying to. So I was like, all right, that definitely isn't gonna happen. I need suspension. So I'm trying to think. I'm torn between full sus and hardtail. So I just have to keep looking at it and figure it out because I'm not in a rush to buy a bike. You know, it's a big
Yeah.
purchase. You know, I want one because things are still mostly closed here. So in the
Hmm.
next couple of weeks, I'll make the decision and we'll go from there. But we'll see, man. It's all crazy.
Yeah. I've seen 5 or 6 YouTube videos of this one Walmart bike, the Schwinn
Yeah.
Axum.
The
Schwinn used to make some badass
Axum.
bikes
Yep.
25 years ago in the 90s.
Yep.
They were the
It's a
bike
nice bike,
company.
bro. That's
So
a nice. It's sold out everywhere. I looked. It's sold out
yeah.
everywhere. Like it's completely out of stock on the Walmart website,
Hmm.
dude. Like I've gone to 3 different WalMarts, I think, and they're barely have any stock of bikes because people are just with this shit, like with this COVID shit, like everybody's getting out of the house. You know, there
Which is
people are
good. They
buying
have to.
bikes, like all the weight, yeah, all the weight sections is like bare minimum. Like we have a really nice Walmart here in the villages where they like it's the biggest Walmart I've ever seen. Like they have an entire workout section, like treadmills, ellipticals,
Hmm.
cross trainers. You know, like the one that like makes it seem like you're running uphill, or it's like a U treadmill.
Okay.
You know, where it's more like the 12, like the $15,000 treadmill. Like they have all
Yeah,
that shit just
that's
because of
expensive.
the market there. Yeah, it's just mad expensive. So like the options there. That's where I originally bought my bike. But even there, they didn't have much of a selection. And when I was buying a bike, there was like 4 or 5 other people and couples buying bikes. So people were buying bikes left and right because it gets you out of the house. So I don't
Yeah.
know. We'll
Yeah,
see,
it's a
bro.
nice bike. That's the one bike that I thought, you know what, if I invest in a bike, or if I was looking at like the 4, 5, $600 range, that might be a viable bike. But
Mhm.
I think at the end of the day, the frame is solid, right? But all the videos had the same thing. Like you, they took it on
The
some crazy
components.
trails too. They took it on some like double black
Yep.
diamond trails that I won't be riding anytime, not soon, not for another
Nope.
year or so. And I don't know if
Yep.
they even have those types of trails in Florida. If you're going to ever
Probably not.
ride those, if that's what you're looking into. But they put
I would
it
have to
through.
travel. I would have to travel for that.
Yeah, they put it through some crazy tests, and he's like, the bike holds up, but it's not made for this kind of trail. Now, having said that, it might be more than good enough for whatever it is that you're gonna do to it. You know what I mean? What you're gonna put it through.
Right.
Um, but I think and it's upgradable because it's made. It's not a regular Walmart bike. It's a Schwinn, and so it's made with like
Hmm.
standard sizing, so you can take it to a bike shop and upgrade whatever it is, the stem, change out the drivetrain, different things because the frame
Yep.
itself is solid. And I looked it up and it's against made by the same the material, the 6061 alloy. It's the same shit that Giant makes their bikes with, same shit that Polygon makes their bikes with,
Yep.
and all these. So it's it's a good frame. It's just
Solid
upgradability.
bike. Yeah.
Yeah. But it would be a hardtail,
I
right?
don't.
It's not a full suspension bike. That's the only thing you wouldn't be able to
Yeah.
do to it.
The one thing I did like about that bike is the seat, is the saddle, like they had the $400 version and then the $500 version,
The
which
drop
the
saddle,
saddle
yeah.
like was the drop saddle. I was like, oh, bro, that
Yep.
would be sick. Because dude, like it's when you have, again, this is all shit that I've learned, and look at us
Yep.
spending another 35 minutes on this shit. Like I didn't realize that you have to adjust the saddle height, you know what I mean, to a certain height. But like when you put the saddle height, which is the bike seat, if you don't know what we're using, like fucking inside baseball terms, like the bike seat, if you have to put the bike seat almost at your hip, right, at where like your pelvis is, that makes it a lot harder. Well, if you know, when you were a kid, when you were like really wanted to catch speed, you would get
Yeah.
off the bike seat and like start fucking shaking the whole bike and honor. That makes it a lot harder to do when the bike saddle is up on your, you know what I mean, like, to say it in no other way, up in your fucking asshole. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Where like it makes it a
It's
lot
hitting your
harder
lower
to
back.
do. But if you could drop, yeah, it's if you could drop the seat, you know what I mean? That makes it a lot easier to hit it. So I'm even looking at to see if there's a possibility to get a bike like that from Giant, if that's more expensive, or if they even do that. Because dude, it's like realizing like that, just that shit alone, that makes it a
Hmm.
lot harder to like really get it and like get off the bike seat and
Yeah, they
like
do
and
it. I
go
mean,
to, if you're able to if you have to like climb up a hill, it's not, you can't sit on the seat and, oh, okay, I'm a pedal. Like, nah, man, you got to get your ass up and get it. So
yeah, but I mean, when
what are you
like,
gonna say?
and that's the thing. When you're climbing, you probably want to have, because that's when you get the most power if you're seated, right? When the seat is a little bit higher
Yeah,
and at that correct position. And then
yeah.
if you're gonna hit a downhill, or if you're hitting like a low spot, you can drop the seat and kind of
Mm-hmm.
take it. And then once you come up that low spot or that dip, um, you can just hit the little remote on your
Yeah,
front, where your front brake is, on the left side, and bring
yep.
the seat back up. So it's
That's what, like it was crazy to see that. Like I had seen it, like I had seen the video. I hadn't seen somebody like actively use it, like that guy did in the video I sent you, where
yeah,
like he's like, "Oh, I'm going up here." He see me drop the seat, and then he's like, and then I readjust it, and the seat comes right back up. Like, yo, that's sick. Like, that's fucking crazy.
you don't have to
I
get off
I
the
want
bike
that.
to adjust your seat or any of that stuff. You just keep riding. You
Nothing.
relax on the pedals a little bit, and it takes half a second, but you don't have to stop the motion or any of
Yep.
that stuff. And when you're going downhill, you just you lower the seat a little bit so your center of gravity is lower and you have more control of the bike. And none of
Exactly.
that take yeah, you don't get off the bike. You stay on the bike the entire time. So I mean, the bigger bike brands do that. I'm surprised that Schwinn with their Walmart bike kind of has that
Yeah.
model available for $500. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Those aren't. I didn't see. I haven't seen any of them in the price range that I'm looking that has that drop seat. I don't know if that comes standard after a certain price, or if that like becomes an addition, because it's like a almost like you gotta almost imagine it like an air compressor, right? Like it's a little air, like it's something that goes in and out, because that's how the thing goes up, because it's not like a lever, you know what I mean? Because you could take the bike seat off, and because it's like a little cable that goes on it. They even showed you how to put it on. So it's crazy, bro. I actually thought
Yeah, but
about
those
buying that one, if I'm gonna be completely honest. Like I
no,
thought about buying the Schwinn Axle.
when you look at enough
That was a
videos of
dope. That's
that
a dope.
bike, yeah, you look at enough
Yeah,
videos and you're like,
like dude,
shit,
like
what am I paying $1,200 for?
exactly, dude. I could get a sick ass bike for five. What was crazy about that bike, and I didn't realize it in comparison to the bike I had, is how small my stem, like my handlebars
Hmm.
were. You know, like you need a wider handlebar, and I was like, yo, that makes sense, because like I felt like my arms were really enclosed, and like even the rubber that goes on the handlebar, like was starting to slip off. So I kept having to, like, as I'm riding, I kept having to like readjust it, because I mean I'm holding on. So like
Yeah.
and I'm turning, so like it wiggles. So I was like, okay, this is it. You know what I mean? Like I don't need this. I want this shit to be like super glued on, and not to, you know what I mean? Like I don't want this shit to be moving. I guess because you could like
Yeah.
customize that too, but I don't want there to be like I had like space by my pinky, where there was like it wasn't actually holding on to nothing. You know what I mean? It was just like the rubber. I was like, nah, this
Yeah.
ain't cool for me, bro. Like if I'm really doing some shit, I'm not. This wouldn't have worked for me.
Yeah, you gotta, and like you can do that too. You can buy some end clips and put them at the end of your, your grips. But also, some of these grips are made out of straight like they're not made out of silicone or anything. They're made out of some really slippery plastic or whatever instead of rubber or silicone or some gel that you can actually grip. So if you're sweating, your hands are slipping off unless you're wearing some kind of gloves that have some grip on them. So it's
Now let's.
it's give and take when you're looking at that price range, but if you're willing to spend the 500 for a drop seat Schwinn bike, then you're probably better off buying that 750 if you can afford it. That 750 Giant for
Dude,
sure.
they have 550 Giants though. Like I don't like, and the difference and the $200 difference is basically like a component because they do
Hmm.
the side by side and like
Yeah,
550 to 750. It was like this brand component, and I don't know like the breakdowns of each component, right? Like it was like 160 millimeter and 116, like you know what I mean, like different shit like that. So I'm not like that serious into the fucking thing yet. Like I don't
the
know
yeah,
components. I'm just yeah, I'm learning bikes, right? Like I haven't
right.
like started doing my research on components and what components work for this, what components
Hmm.
work for that. Like this is all a learning lesson. But it was like, dude, like how is there a 550 bike and then there's a 750 bike? Like a 550 bike, I'm erasing it out of the way. I was like, if I'm gonna spend 550, I might as well spend 750. You know, because that's clearly the better bike, which is the
Right.
Giant Talent 29 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then eventually, and then like I said, eventually I'll figure it out. I still haven't figured out if I want to do gloves though. Like everybody I see in the mountain biking videos, like wear gloves. I don't know if that's like a thing I should look into because I'm having a hard time enough finding a fucking helmet. Like, how am I gonna find gloves? So figure this shit out, bro.
I don't know, man. Uh, I think I'm getting
You get
gloves.
gloves?
I'll probably get some gloves.
I get you. Get, well, it's gonna be easier for you to find gloves because you can look in the boys section and the men's section. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
That's
I
right. I
was
said it.
waiting for it. I knew it was coming. So
You goddamn right it was coming, man.
I,
I keep
I,
it
I let
consistent.
it go
But
when
yeah,
you said you were having a hard time finding a helmet and gloves. I was like, you know what? That's played out. I've
I
made too
don't.
many big head
It's
jokes.
listen, dude, it's well documented, sir. Everybody, if anybody's watching this shit, they can see I got a big ass head. But I found the helmet ish. I found a helmet at one of the village cycles, but like the strap was too tight. So like it actually fit my big ass head, but it didn't
Yeah,
like the strap was really tight. I was like, oh, this is uncomfortable. So like I looked online and they're gonna give me a call when they got the because it's an extra large, obviously. You know what
yeah.
I mean? Let's be completely honest. It's an extra large, but just the chin strap didn't work. So I was like, all right, gotta find a better one. And they'll give me a call when it comes in. And then I'll probably go next week sometime to go talk to them. I wanna like the thing that makes me cautious about buying, and we could finish it here right in the next couple of minutes with this bike shit. The
Yeah,
thing that
yeah.
makes me cautious about buying a bike online is that if I can't sit on it, if I can't sit on a bike with similar dimensions, you know what I mean, with the bike height and the wheels and like kind of know how it feels, it's a huge purchase to make off an
Sight
unknown
unseen.
commodity. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yeah, sight unseen. I was like, all right, man, I'm just gonna buy this $1,200 bike or whatever the fuck. But I've never ridden a 29er. Well, my bike was a 29er, the one I turned back. So I know what a 29er feels like, but the frame was too high, right? And the bike seat was so it was like just figuring out how that all works. It was like I just can't make I feel like I can't make that kind of decision without
Hmm.
like giving the bike a test spin. Like not necessarily that bike, just a bike
Something
with that
similar, similar
with those type
spec
of
or
dimensions.
sizes, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
similar
yeah, similar
geometry.
specs. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Like
Can
I
you make that
think
kind of
part of
purchase?
that is what's that?
I said, can you make that kind of purchase like that, like sight unseen?
Yeah, but that's because I'm living in 2028. You're still living in like 1865 with that internet, so you don't know how this whole thing works. eBay's been around for a while, and if you don't know about eBay, it's gonna blow your mind. And then
Okay,
after that, Amazon.
I just
Maybe you don't know about that
I
that stuff yet, but
bit condescending. A bit condescending. I obviously I know about Amazon.
I yeah, but
Where I shop now.
I've been buying everything, not everything, but I've been making purchases like that sight unseen. But I do the same thing you do. I find things that are as similar to whatever it is I'm looking at as possible, and then I just decide to
Right.
go with it, make the purchase. I mean, think you can always have just return it, right? Most of these places, if you're buying from a legitimate place, they have a 14 or 30-day or whatever return policy. So if that shit doesn't
Hmm.
suit your needs, it's not what you thought it was, you return it. You know, I mean, it's like your
Yeah.
camera right now. You're gonna have that camera. You paid what, $90 for it, or what are you telling me about this camera you're using? Logitech.
Webcam.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, because
Logitech P9020. Yeah.
that's a hell of a camera. Because in order to fit that
Yeah.
big ass head of yours, like that shit is, you're sitting in one room and
Mhm.
that camera is in the living room,
Dude.
and you're able to zoom in and you're able to
Yeah.
zoom in to fit you in the frame. That's the only
Yeah.
way we can fit you in this fucking frame. You had to put the camera and you in
Yeah,
separate
there's no
rooms.
way. You're absolutely right because there's no way to like get my head on camera like anywhere anything under about 65 feet. It's impossible to get
Absolutely.
my camera in frame. It's not the most accommodating way to do it in my house, but you know what I mean. You got to make sacrifices to keep the podcast going, man.
That's right.
You know what I mean? You fuck, dude. I watched some. Well, I watched some crazy show on Amazon Prime. It's an interesting show. It's called Upload, right? The premise of the show, it just came out Friday. We binged it because it's only 30-minute episodes, right? The premise of the show is like your consciousness gets uploaded to an avatar, right? Where it's like
Mm-hmm.
you're basically the same, like you are exactly how you look, but you
Mm-hmm.
just you know what I mean. You die, right? Or you don't actually die because if you die, you can't. Your brain is dead. You can't be uploaded, but you
Right.
gotta like do it as you're alive. You know what I mean? So like,
Right.
let's say you're in a bad accident, and which is what happens to like the main character of the show. You're in an accident, quote unquote. Your brain and your consciousness, and then you get put into an avatar, and then like you have
Mm-hmm.
a customer service rep that like accommodates everything you want. It's crazy, and it was insane. Obviously, because like the more money you have, just like in everything, right? The more money you have, the better benefits you have.
Yeah.
It's an interesting show, man. Like I don't want to give too much away because there's a lot that goes into it, like the
Mm-hmm.
main guy, and then the whole dynamics of it. But it's a pretty cool concept of a show. It's called
Watch
Upload on Amazon Prime.
watch Altered Carbon on Netflix.
I've seen it. Seen it.
It's a similar concept, right? Where you, I
Yeah,
mean, not the same, but where you can upload your consciousness. Um, and then there was a movie made about that
yeah.
too.
You're
That's,
like
I forgot what the name of the movie was, but it's the same concept where you can like,
that was
uh,
with, that was with Ryan Reynolds, I think, right? That was like Selfless or something like that. If I remember correctly, where
I've
he
seen
was
that one, but
like,
I was
where
talking about
like
a different movie, and I can't remember what it was called. But it's the same thing where you can like upload your consciousness into a new. I think that in Altered Carbon they call them sleeves, right? It's like
yeah,
another
yeah,
body, another thing waiting for your consciousness to be plugged in, so you can
yeah.
continue living.
But
And then
like you know how like like how we're talking now, like one of
yes,
us would be dead. You know what I mean? Like actually, they're like you can't go into like the real world. You know, like you're living in like in a simulation almost, but like everything feels real. You know what I mean? But you know you're
yeah,
dead. But you have like somebody called an angel who's like does your customer service. Who's like, okay, how can I help you and stuff like that. And then they start showing you because you have to have like unlimited data, right? To because
hmm,
it's all internet still. But then if you are in the 2 gig,
so
right, where
you're
your
fucked.
family doesn't have as much money, yeah, 'cause I'm fucked. So once you like if you have like a 2 gig thing, then you basically have 2 gig, and then 2 gigs goes like that, and then you're basically frozen to your data. You know what I mean? To your data plan starts again the following month.
Shit.
It's
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it.
yeah, dude. It's really interesting. It's only I think it's 10 episodes. The first episode's obviously long because it explains a lot. But then even as you're watching the episode, and it's written from the guy by the guy from The Office.
Okay.
It's funny. It's good, bro. It's
You
good.
talk wait, written
Like
by
we
you
binged
talking
the
about
show.
by John Krasinski? You talk, or the guy
No,
that
no, no. The actual writer, Greg Berlanti, I think is his name.
okay.
Like the head writer of The Office. Yeah, he wrote that shit. It was good. It was interesting, man. Yeah, I just wanted to
Uh,
segue away from fucking bikes the
from
entire
bikes.
podcast because then we're
I
gonna
know.
become
No, hey,
yeah we're
yeah,
gonna
if we're talking about a
bike,
show
instead
like
of man
that,
chatter, it's gonna be bike chatter.
yeah,
Yeah,
bike chatter.
it's gonna be
That's what it's
bike
gonna
chatter.
be. We're
Yeah,
gonna the videos are gonna be Instagram clips of like of my action cam.
listen,
Like I said,
yeah,
we're gonna buy a
my GoPro.
$2,100 bike. And what was your question on Facebook? What about the kids? I'm like, they can watch my GoPro videos. It's like we can only buy one bike for
Exactly. What?
$2,100.
Yeah. So what bike would you buy? Would you buy Tony then? Like realistically, I don't know if your wife is watching, but
Realistically, I think that Schwinn for sure. And you know what? No,
No,
couldn't be the Schwinn because Tony weighs. He doesn't weigh a lot. He probably weighs the same
he's
that
tall.
I did at that age, around 120. Um, he's like, and he's taller. But that Schwinn, there's one
Yeah.
downside to that Schwinn is that they only make one size. That's why they're able to sell it for that
Yep.
price. They don't make different frames. They don't have
Mm-hmm.
to adjust their molds. It's just the large, and the large might
Yep.
be, even though he's like 5'7", 8" maybe. That I think he's 5'8". That
That's too tall
a
for him.
large is meant for people that are like
Yeah, he's a medium.
5'11" or 5'10" to 6'2", something like that.
Yep.
So
Yep.
you don't want to put him at risk of falling off, or his feet coming loose on the trails, and then he loses his ability to have kids because he didn't buy the right frame
Yeah.
for his
And he
size.
can't be a grandfather. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely not.
Not that I'm trying to
Definitely
be a
not.
grandfather
So
right
that's
now.
the other thing. No, absolutely not. That'd be weird, right? Fuck, you
Yeah,
could be though. That's so crazy.
that is.
But yeah, like you got to learn like the small, medium, large, and extra larges. You got to learn about that shit. It's crazy, bro. Look at us sliding right back into fucking
I
bike
was about
talk.
to say, let me
But
remind you that you're the one that brought this shit back to bikes.
I know I literally just said that. Yeah,
But
but
hey,
dude, they don't
no,
have the Shrine X anywhere. Though. So
they don't have the what?
it's not even an option. They don't have. I can't find the Shrine X anywhere. Like I looked on. I googled it. It's only specifically a Walmart bike, I think, and it's sold out.
Yeah,
And it's like it says out of stock, so everybody's been buying that shit.
it
Oh,
is.
we'll
Everyone's
see.
buying one. No,
Everybody's been buying that fucking
that
thing.
show upload. There's another show that I was watching on Amazon. I stopped, but these are stories, and they're not related. It's called Electric Dreams. So
Okay.
it's on Amazon. It's Philip K. Dick's Electric Dreams, and this guy was like one of the, like the I guess you can call him the grandfather of the father of this type of writing, like steampunk,
Mhm.
or
Okay.
cyberpunk, or not steampunk, cyberpunk. And so when you think about like Blade Runner, you think about Altered
Okay.
Carbon and all these, like, where
Yeah.
technology is so advanced, but we're living in these dystopian societies where like technology is kind of taken over to the point where it's a detriment. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's a really good series, and all these episodes are not related to each other, but it's a play on different things. This was probably Amazon's response to like Black Mirror, which is the same kind of, I don't know if you've seen
Yep.
Black
Yep.
Mirror, that type
Black
of show.
Mirror's crazy. Black
Yeah,
Mirror's crazy. Oh, dude,
yeah,
that episode where like the mom watches her daughter. You know what I mean? Like what I think it's called like she puts that thing behind her eye and she's able to see everything her daughter does and shit like that. And like she sees her daughter like have sex and she watches it. I was like, yo, this is so insane. And it's, oh, dude, like
yeah,
then there's the really weird one with the video game where like they play like two dudes play as like a male. Oh, my friend
yeah,
showed me that shit. I was like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with y'all, man?
yeah.
Like,
It's a good
because
show.
it just end up
Crazy
like
shit.
just yeah, it's crazy shit, bro.
Yeah, and so
But even
and the
that, like
thing with
even upload comments on this though, like on all that type of stuff, because that's technology, right? It's like if you're dead and like your girlfriend wants to like still have sex with you, she wears like a bodysuit that has like all these sensors and shit, but like you can't really buy them. You gotta like rent them. You know what I
uh-huh.
mean? Like it's so other people have used that suit.
I
It's
was
just
yeah,
it's
that's
weird,
who's
bro.
cleaning that suit.
Yeah, it's weird, son. It's
But
weird,
so
yo.
it's scary because like I'm we're close to we could be close to that kind of stuff happening. I mean, it's scary for
Yeah.
me. You're still living in 1865, so you don't have to worry about any of that. You still don't even have 5G where you live.
Still leave my
So
house sometimes and have real internet. You know what I mean? But dude, like, and this show is only based like 13 years in the future. Like 2033, everybody has like self-driving cars. To make
yeah.
it to like LA to New York is a 30-minute flight. You know what I mean? Like planes, like there's only it's a quick scene where like planes actually have like people sitting above each other. You know what I mean? Like you have
Hmm.
you're sitting on the floor, and then people are sitting like on the roof where like you see people's feet hanging. But it's like a 30-minute. It's crazy, dude. It's a really interesting show. Like I'm not gonna hype it up just because like I just saw it and I don't want to be like a victim of now type of thing. But like it's an interesting show in that like yeah, it's good. Especially it's a good quarantine TV show. You know what I'm saying? Like something to pass the time where
Yeah.
like it's not heavy where you're not watching like people be murdered and then have to go back to dealing with the stress of having to stay home or fucking protesters in Michigan showing up with guns and figuring out what you know what I mean or Donald Trump saying that the virus is just gonna leave, it'll just go away. You know what I mean? Like you just get to stay away from all that shit. I'm like, yo, like this is nice. Like I just threw
Speaking
all
of
that in there,
quarantine,
or I just
yes,
jab, jab, jab.
yesterday I had a couple beers with my neighbor. We had a good 6 foot distancing. We had a fire
How
going.
weird. Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and this is my neighbor who's like a huge Trump supporter, right? He's got the signs. He's offered to give me some
right.
signs to put up in my front yard. Um,
That's great.
but hey, he's older. He's like in his 60s. He and his wife, they're abiding by these social distancing rules. Like he still supports
Mhm.
his idol, but holy shit,
Yeah,
do they it comes to a point where like they're gonna support him because they know he's wrong. Even right, I can tell you right now that he definitely knows that that dude is 100% fucking gone, and he's gonna support him no matter what,
right,
because that's a decision he made.
right.
And
Yep,
unlike a lot of governors or a lot of politicians or people don't want to admit that they're wrong when they're wrong,
yep.
and so he's just gonna
Hmm.
he's a ride or die. Having said that, though,
Right.
he's not following any of the stuff that Trump was saying in the beginning. Like he started wearing his mask, social distancing. He's telling me he goes to the market, and he goes even more than I do, more extreme. Like he has his N95 mask, he's got his gloves,
Yep.
and then before he'll open up his car, he'll use hand sanitizer on the gloves, and then he'll put some hand
Yep.
sanitizer on the handle of his car. So he'll clean the gloves off,
Yep.
take them off, and if he has to go to the next store, he'll rewipe everything. Like I'm like,
That's
damn.
smart, bro. At least he knows what he's doing.
He is,
He's
but
not
he's still
cross
voting. But he
contaminated.
still supports Trump. But he's for sure like he's like, no, no. I think this dude has no fucking idea what he's talking about on this. But I'm gonna support him anyway. And when all this is said and done, I'm pretty sure he's gonna be like, no, no. He made all the right decisions. But he's definitely not acting as if
Yeah.
Trump is giving great advice. So I'm
Yeah.
glad that he's got
It's
some sense in him.
yeah. It's weird to me, right? Like, look, as I mean, I think you've noticed now. Like, I've definitely like rolled it all the way back to like going on political rants and shit
Yeah.
like that on my social media, just because it took me a long time, right? Like, it took me a long time to realize that. Like, even though when I would say it, like, it took me a long time to realize that I'm never gonna break through to that
Yeah.
way of thinking, right? There's never gonna be like a person. I haven't, because it hadn't happened in 4 years. It's not gonna happen now where
Mhm.
like somebody goes, you know what, Ben, you're right, man. You know what I mean? Like this is clearly stupid. This guy saying X, Y, and Z or
Right.
Kofefe or liberate this state, or you know what I mean? Like just you can go through the plethora of dumb shit.
Yeah.
It's always gonna be, oh, but you know what I mean? Oh, but what about this? Oh, but what about when Barack Obama did this? Or what about, you know what I mean? Like justifying something with another person wrong is actually admitting that your guy is wrong. Like, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like that it was, so I was like, all right, I'm just done having this conversation. And one of my old battle buddies, like this dude I was in the army with, is going through it now, where like he's going on his political rants. And I'm sure he'll see this, and I've commented
Hmm.
on his shit, like going through his political rants, where I'm just like, I want to comment just to like have the conversation, but at the same time I was like, now I realize why I was so annoying. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
because like he's just he's on the other side of it, right? Like
Right.
he's libertarian, which here's the thing. If I'm being, I think libertarians are full of shit to
I
me.
was about
Like
to say
I think
that.
libertarians just have a different title. Just, bro, dude, you're Republican, man.
You're a
Like
Republican
there,
for
I
sure.
haven't seen, like, libertarians are just guys that want to smoke weed, like that. You know what I mean? Like that's really your whole difference.
Yeah.
And maybe that you believe in a smaller government, but you still accepted a stimulus check. You believe in a small, you know what I mean? You believe in a smaller government, but you're it's just it's you're two sides of the same fucking apple. Like you're not any different, bro. I'm sorry. Like good on you. Like good on you to have a different title and have a longer name, but you're the same fucking shit. You're the same thing. Exactly. I make fun of both parties. Like, dude, that doesn't mean anything. I make fun of both people. I'm not gonna. I'm not. I still fall under a Democrat. You know what I mean? Like, don't get. You're not a different party. You're the same fucking thing. I don't. All right, I'm done with that. But it's
Yeah.
just, I don't know. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Like this Michigan shit. Like I was telling you about it earlier. Like it's actually legal for them, which is crazy to me. It's legal for them to bring in armed assault weapons into a state and federal building, right? But it's not legal for them to bring in signs. Tell me how that makes sense.
I don't know. Are you sure? It must be. It's a state building, right? It's not a federal building because federal buildings you can't
It's a,
bring
my phone's dead.
arms. What's that?
Yeah, a state building, which is the state capitol. My phone's dead. I can't even research it. So
So that might be
Yeah, it's a
different,
state
and
building.
I don't even feel like researching that right now. That's ridiculous that you can bring in weapons, but because I know federal building you can't bring in weapons, um, but you can't bring in your signs. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
But we mentioned I mentioned people because look, here's the thing: the Michigan governor, she's a Democrat.
she
She
fucked up.
made some like draconian, like drastic things. Like
Yep. Yes.
some of her the that was part of her order were ridiculous. Like whether you're a Democrat or Republican,
Yes.
I'm looking at that stuff and I'm like, what is wrong? Someone took the power that they had. That's what people are afraid of. And I go back to 1984 and this Orwellian society, and you think that's what happens if you put the wrong person in power, where they just say, no, you can't even go here to buy this. And granted, maybe it's not really essential, but like to outline it in your order. And DeWine in Ohio, he did the same thing. He kind of said, hey, we're gonna reopen slowly in phases, and by May 29th, I think we expect to start bars and restaurants, being fully open, or at least to a greater extent. But I think what he
Yep.
put in his order initially was that everyone will wear masks when you're going out to these retail establishments, et cetera, et cetera. And there was a backlash to that. And so, he kind of talked it over with his administration and his medical experts. And he went back on the mandatory wearing, but he still put it out there like, hey, you know what? It's strongly encouraged for safe. It's always better
Yep.
to err on the side of safety. So if you have one and can wear
Yes.
one, wear your mask. They're not gonna make it mandatory where you're gonna get
Yep.
written up. You're gonna get a ticket or something
Ticket.
because
Yep.
when you put an order like that, now law enforcement can get involved and write tickets and things of that nature. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but you
And
rarely
it becomes a
see,
bigger thing. And it becomes
yeah, and you rarely see leaders actually do
a,
that, where they say, you know what, I kind of fucked up. Maybe I took it a step too far. I think we still should err on the side of caution. But it's
mm-hmm.
not. You don't have to do it. Like we're gonna try to get back
Yep.
to day-to-day life. But just keep in mind, like we still want to be safe about this. And if you can wear a mask, wear a
Yep.
mask. You know. Um, but you don't see that happen. And again, he's a Republican governor, and I
Mm-hmm.
think he's been highlighted in Fox, he's been highlighted in CNN, both sides of like the media, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
as someone that's kind of doing it right as far as the decisions he's making, and if he went too far, he's publicly said, you know what, I went too far. Let's roll back some things.
Yep.
Um, yeah, so I happen to live in that state. And
Yep.
the reason why our numbers are lower than other places are probably because some of the real strict stuff that he put in early on, before just about any, even before New York. He said, we're shutting this shit down. We're shutting down schools. We're not going back to
Yep.
school. He made that decision. Like on a week to week basis, you adjust. You look at the numbers. You look at everything, and he's like, no, we're
Yeah,
going to
you get
continue to keep
information, you
schools
change.
closed. Right. Because this
Right.
is something new, and so I'm glad that he's been doing that. Now he's got a Democratic, uh, his lead health advisor, Amy Akers, I think is her name.
Mm-hmm.
She was part of the Obama administration at some point, I think, and so that's one of the other things. Like he gets criticism from Republicans or his Republican base or whatever, that she's just a Democrat,
Right.
and
For not being
you're
full
going
red.
too far with this shit. And I'm like, dude, it's just a public health thing. Like she's a public health official, and
Yep.
so I mean, I'm glad that he's made some things. Some things were maybe a little too strict, but then he comes back and he says, you know what? We took it too far. And a lot of people, like just leaders, don't always do that. People are too
No.
proud to say I fucked up. They'll just say we just made some
Dude, like
great
I
decisions. We made the best decisions, and we're gonna keep moving forward.
I'll tell you like this, and I've said it. I understand the protest, right? Like people don't have jobs, they need to get back to work, they got bills, they're desperate. I get all that. So I understand the reaction to wanting to protest, to look open up the state, yada yada yada. But what I don't understand is showing up with weapons. Like that's where I'm confused. Like what point are you trying to what are you trying to prove in that conversation? You know what I mean? Like why show up with guns? Like what I mean, you want to get back to work. What are you gonna? So hold on. So my question is like, okay, it's legal, right? It's legal to carry a firearm, or not, as long as like you're responsible, whatever the fuck. First of all, a couple questions. How do you know the person with the firearm is responsible? Did you ask them before? And of course, they're gonna
Hmm.
say yes. right? Just to go second. If they want to remove you from the facility because they think you're dangerous and you have an AR-15 strapped across your chest and it's a cop, so what are you gonna do? Are you
Right.
gonna defend yourself against the cop, putting the cop in danger and blowing it up into a situation? Because shit blows up in situations without weapons, right? Like
Right.
there's fights, there's unarmed people getting shot, there's cops getting injured, there's a bunch of other protesters and civilians, bystanders standing by. So all of it doesn't make sense to me. Like
Right.
I get being out of work. My wife's out of work. My mom's out of work now. My father-in-law, my stepfather was out of work, and luckily he found another job. I get how desperate that is because bills don't stop. But
Right.
I don't understand why weapons have to come into the equation when it's not like I understood Virginia showing up to the Capitol right when they were trying to like ban all weapons and shit like that. I understood
Yeah.
that because I was like, it was
Yeah.
still 2-way. I get it, still in the Constitution, but this has nothing to do with that. So then what they're doing is actually hijacking the conversation and taking it away from being irresponsible to having guns. So like, oh, but they have the right to have guns. Yeah, bro. A lot of people have rights to do a lot of shit. But if they were anything other than what they look like, is the reaction exactly the same? If
No.
there was a bunch of Muslims,
Absolutely not.
a bunch of black people, a bunch of Hispanics standing in a bunch of, you know what I mean? A bunch of anything other than what they look like, is your defense of them the same? And if you tell me it is, I'm gonna call you a fucking liar. Like, because you're clearly just changed. It's absolutely not the same. Ohio, I think, is an open carry state, which is where they killed that black kid in a park playing with a toy gun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if it's an open it's an open carry state for some and not all. Let's just call it what it is, bro. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't know, bro. Like, it just if it's not good for everybody, then it's not good for anybody. Then your double standard is bullshit, and changing your argument, you can suck an entire bag of hyena dicks. You know what I mean?
Fake
That's just how I
hyena
feel about
female
it, bro.
penises. But hey,
Yeah, pseudo penises,
pseudo
pseudo
penises.
penises.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah,
It's a really long hashtag. I'm gonna have to memorize it. But
it's
it's
way too long, bro.
they're peaceful protests, right? So why do you need to strap an AR or an M16 to your chest
Yeah.
if it's a peaceful protest?
Why do you have to show up with a bulletproof vest and a fucking like the skull American flag mask? That's not really
Right.
a mask. It's just like a gator. You know what I mean? Like what the fuck? What do you what? None of that seems peaceful to me. And I get
It's
it, dude. Like I go ahead.
I got someone over here, Philip Andrew Vasquez.
Oh man, that's my old battle buddy, man. That
He's
motherfucker there was my roommate for 3 years. Yo, that motherfucker ate a hot pepper, and it's the funniest shit I ever seen in person in my life.
I bet. Look, I'm gonna read you the string of comments right here. It says,
What's he got?
"Mama says hi, son.
No,
She's here with
that's
me.
Mom's the greatest.
Don't
Mom's
make
the
that face,
greatest.
man.
Hey,
It must have been one of your faces when I was talking about, I don't know, about the decisions here or my neighbor. Mom
yeah,
says, "Hey, Benny." He
yeah,
says,
she's
"You
awesome,
told me
bro.
one thing that is good for everyone." And then you talking about the pepper. I'm guessing he's like, "I don't see how that's any of your business," but I'm
Dude,
guessing
I
that was
gotta
his
say, like,
response to
look, this
that.
is the. I'm gonna tell you this story. I'm gonna put it on the pod. So we're watching some movie, right? Because we in the barracks room we only had separated by wall lockers, right?
Yeah.
So we're watching some movie. He's like, "Yo, man, you need to turn on the light. Uh, you need to turn on the light because I'm eating this shit has like hot stuff in it or some shit like that." I was like, "Nah, man, stop being a bitch." It was like me, my boy Canal. Shout out to my
Uh
boy
huh.
Canal, our boy Canal, and Philip, right? Dude, and he all of a sudden I forget what fucking movie we're watching because it didn't matter, and all of a sudden we just hear his head like slam up against the wall, and I was like, "Yo, what happened?" I ate a pepper. And it was like the hot pepper in like the Chinese food that he had. Yo,
Uh huh.
like he drank all the milk we had. Like he took a bath, like he fucking dumped it on his head. Oh my god, dude, we've never ever laughed so hard like I did that day. And then he got on a permanent profile because of a twig while running. It's the clumsiest motherfucker on the planet. Yeah, like he tripped on a
Yeah.
twig while running. I saw him fall, and he like destroyed every ligament in his ankle. And again, I laughed hard. It didn't matter. Like it was just when I'm watching him fall because he's 6'4", So he's a
Uh
little
huh.
bit taller than me, like lanky. And dude, it took him a good 17 minutes to fall.
So he
Like
couldn't
legit,
break
like
his fall,
seven, because
right?
he just
That's what happens when you're that tall.
he keeps trying to catch himself but doesn't, but like picks himself up but doesn't. So he's stumbling for like 45 minutes, and then he finds and
It's just
every
all
ligament
arms
in
and
his
legs all over the place.
all legs, dude. All arms is the funniest shit. It's kind of like he looks like a Mexican white version of Slender Man. Like that's kind of how you know how Slender Man is like all arms and legs. That's
Yeah.
what he is. Yeah, obviously, Philip. There's no like what he said is like obviously nothing is good for everybody. But I'm just saying I don't understand if it's a peaceful protest. Like to me, what would have made again, you can't tell somebody how to protest, just like I didn't tell people in Ferguson how to protest. So you
Yeah.
know what I mean. You can't. But what would have made more sense to me is like crowding the entire street of all of it. You know what I mean? Holding up their signs and putting on a mask is like get us back to work. You know what I mean? Like make it more of a powerful image because again, now the conversation and look, what they're protesting is fair. Her fucking stupid ass draconian list of what you can't do
Yep.
was insane, right? Completely agree
It
with you.
is.
But now the conversation becomes why did they have to show up with weapons? You get what I'm saying? Like
Right.
I'm questioning it. There's the other side because then now same thing as Occupy Wall Street. Now it becomes a different conversation than what the actual point of it was.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like nobody's talking about Governor Whitmer, the list of shit that she banned them on. Like they'll mention it briefly, but as they're mentioning it, what they're doing is showing you the images of the armed protesters. You know what I
Right.
mean? So like you're looking at one thing, but you're hearing one thing, but looking at another. Those two things don't coincide. Then everybody loses their point. You get what I'm saying?
No.
Like
See, at
showing up
that
with
point,
weapons was the thing to do.
yeah. At
Go
that
ahead.
point, the media then decides what the message is
Yep.
because of the imagery that you're
Exactly.
portraying. And look, just 5 minutes
Exactly.
ago, I said it right. Like I'm a liberal, Democrat, whatever, and um, I'm fully supporting what a Republican governor in Ohio here is doing,
Yeah.
and I completely
Yeah.
disagree with that. What Democrat governor in Michigan is doing, like, it's not about supporting one party or another, right? It's supporting what's in the best interest.
Absolutely.
Now, like you said,
Yeah.
those the protesters, instead of having fucking ARs strapped to your chest and bulletproof vests, how about you have a fucking you blow up the bills that you own? How about on your signs you
Yeah.
fucking have your light bill and your mortgage and your rent and all the shit that you have to pay because you don't have a job? How about making that statement? Because that's the message you're
Exactly.
trying to deliver. You can't work, but the bills keep coming. They keep piling up. So how about
Mm-hmm.
you show that? And I mean, people already know that that's what it
Yeah.
is, but you're not helping yourself in going with a bulletproof vest and semi-automatic rifles. What message is that saying? No, bring those numbers. Show that, blow that shit up. Go to fucking Kinkles or Office Max or Office or whatever, Office Depot or from your house and print that shit up. Blow it up. And that's the message that people everyone knows
Like
we have what 25 million people without jobs now or that have filed for
over
unemployment.
over 30
Over
over
30
30
now, so
million people.
it was 25 last week. So
Yeah.
that's the message. Even though we know that that's what's happening, people don't need to see you with an AR and a bulletproof vest. They that's what you need to be delivering. And so because you didn't do that, you let the media, and then you'll complain. The media is saying this and saying that. Yeah, because you're
Yep.
you're
You gave them a
putting
picture.
yourself up
You
and you're
gave them
being
a
a
picture.
puppet, and you gave them a picture and they can do with it whatever they want. You had
Yeah.
you had the opportunity
Exactly.
to control the message and you didn't.
Yeah. So you can't get mad at the media for then dictating whatever they want. Look, the media is a piece of like I at no point will ever defend the media, and the media is propaganda for one side or the other, and they have their own economical reasons for why they do what they do. Right? We get that,
Right.
but again, like if they do what you said, it makes sense. But also, what doesn't make sense to me is like why are they not allowed to carry signs into a state building? Like how is that? How is paper to you know what I mean, pen to paper or marker to paper more illegal than carrying a fully loaded weapon into a state building? Like how you're more afraid of that then? Like I know the pen is mightier than the sword, right? But come on, dude. Like what are we talking about here?
Yeah.
It was,
Hey, by the
that
way,
was that was weird to me seeing that. Like it's illegal for them to bring signs in. Like think
yeah.
about how powerful it would be if like I don't know how. First of all, I don't even know how many protesters there were because all they show is the same 7 or 8 people, right, with weapons and standing in the building or on the steps. So again, that's what they're choosing to do, right? They're choosing to show that image. So imagine, I'm sure there was thousands of people holding up those signs, but that's not what they're showing because that would be an attack on the economy, and then you can't for left or right, you can't attack the economy because
Right.
you have to keep propping it up. You know what I mean? We talked about it before. Democrat or Republican, the economy supersedes human beings 100% of the time. So if you have somebody saying mortgage 1450, uh, light bill 175, cell phone bill 140, you know what I mean? Break it
Yeah.
down. Still unemployed. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that becomes more powerful than a bunch of fucking old white dudes holding up AR-15s. Like, yeah, they could have been in the crowd, but when you focus on them, that becomes the image, right?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
when Antifa, right, is an example of that. Like Antifa, for the most part, probably did none of the shit that they portray to do, but
Those
they're being
idiots. Yeah.
shown for those 4 or 5 people that are fucking morons, and then that becomes, oh man, fuck Antifa. First of all, everybody should be anti-fascist. That should just be an
Yeah.
American slogan. That should be a fucking tattoo on all our bodies. Like we fought wars for this shit.
Hi, Benny
You know what I mean?
from Mary Riley.
Yeah, that's Philip's mom, man. She's the nicest, one of the nicest ladies ever, bro. Oh my god. Oh man, she's awesome, bro. She's a
Yeah.
trip. She gives Philip so much shit when they drink. I don't know. We used to drink a lot when she would come visit, and dude, it'd be the funniest thing because Philip would just become like that little. He's like 6'4". He'd become like this little 3-year-old kid that mom, almost like Eric John when we would bully him. You know what I mean?
Oh, Eric, God, we didn't even have to bully him though. Like
Uh,
we just like took his favorite drink from
he
him,
just
and
cried.
he would just bawl. Yeah.
Yeah, for real though. Dude. But yeah, I get like look again, like the Democratic governor is wrong, but as the protester, you've given her cover by showing up with weapons. Is what you've done. Like because
Right.
now they're not talking about why they're protesting. Now all they're showing is like, oh, why are they showing up with weapons? Why are they showing up
Right.
with weapons? What like you fucked up, bro. Like I agree with why you're protesting. I get it, man. You're desperate times, all that shit. I understand that. But the arms it becomes a different conversation then, and then the media takes it for whatever they want to take it, and it's the same shit with this Joe Biden fucking thing. You know what I mean? We talked
Yeah.
about it last time, and you know what I mean? Like it's a fucking shit show, bro. Like the media gets to portray it however they want. It's that's why I don't even watch the news anymore, bro.
I
Like for
haven't in a
those
while.
besides
I'm
those
looking at mountain bikes.
like yeah, I'm looking at mountain bikes. I'm watching TV shows. I'm watching the shit out of Psych. Like I'm on season 4 now. You know what I mean? Like we're just binging the shit out of that because it's exhausting, dude. Like I don't spend my time. You know what I mean? Other than what I see on my newsfeed, and I might
Mhm.
want to click onto it and like do a little bit of a deep
Yeah.
dive. But other than that, I'm trying to figure out if I want to spend $750 or $1,200 for a fucking mountain bike, bro. Other than that, I don't really give it my energy. And let me tell you
It,
something, man.
yeah.
It's kept me sane. It gives me,
True.
you know what I mean? It makes me focus on something else. Because if I'm just looking at people's rants and all that shit, dude, it's taking up so much of my time. I don't even rant anymore. You know what I mean? Like even when I
Right.
posted that, like, yo, I'm not fucking with Joe Biden and I'm not voting for him. Like that got some reaction. I was like, you know what? This is stupid. I just deleted the post. I was like, I'm done. Like there's no point for it anymore. Like I'm trying to figure out if full suspension or hardtail makes more sense.
Speaking of Joe Biden, Philip wants to know: did he do it?
I mean, I don't. Did you see? I wish I could post the Andrew Schultz rant on my Facebook because that's one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
That shit was great,
I
wasn't it?
don't. I'll tell you the truth. Obviously, I don't know if he fucking did it. I can't answer that, but I can say this: I don't know if he remembers if he did it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he has brain capacity to remember if he did it anymore. But
Dude.
it's so you look at the. I'll talk about this real quick, right? You look at the claims. She says that her mom called into Larry King Live. There's video of his
Mhm.
mom calling into Larry King Live.
Right.
There's 2 other people unconnected to the same person, right? Only per
Mhm.
friend is like that. The victim, they corroborated the story. An
Mhm.
intern that worked under her at the time, you know what I mean, said that she was moved away quickly. You know what I mean, like transferred positions without much knowledge or heads up. That
Mhm.
happened again. Like it's a different corroboration. So it's like there's a lot of questions here. But again, I don't know if Joe Biden can remember if he did it. He's like literally like when he's on TV, he's reading off a prompter. Look, man, they're both pieces of shit, so I can't rock with either one.
Yeah.
And I said it before, and I said it again. I'll vote down ballot for you know what I mean, like different policies and laws and shit like that. But I can't rock with president, bro. I just can't do it. I'm not voting for for two fucking demented fucks, bro. Can't do it, man. I can't vote for a guy that says to inject bleach, and I can't vote for another one that has worse flubs than fucking George W. Bush. Fool me once, can't get fooled again. Fool me twice. Yeah, you
That
know,
was hilarious. Fool me, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, you can't fool me. I don't even know what he
can't get
said. It
fooled
was so
again.
ridiculous. Can't
Can't,
get fooled
can't get
again.
fooled. Can't get fooled. I'm out, bro. Biden had one.
Uh,
Biden had one that was like that was
we the
Andrew
people.
Schultz had it. He goes, "We the people. You remember the thing? Oh,
You
okay,
remember the
thanks.
thing?
All right, bro.
You mean the
And I
preamble
just
to
do
the
the thing.
Constitution of the United States? That thing.
Exactly. You remember that's the thing, bro. That's the thing.
uh,
Ugh, I don't.
we hold these
I'm
truths to
fucking
be
out, bro.
self-evident. All men are created equal. Yeah, that the thing. That thing.
Yeah, the thing. Yeah, the thing, bro. The thing. Fucking morons. But
I
yeah, dude.
agree
Like
with Philip.
it's
Mary Riley
what do you say?
2024.
Oh, gang. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. She should definitely run. She should definitely run for like Congress or something for sure. Get her name out there in like 2028. She'd probably win.
Here's the thing. I
What?
You were talking about this story about him eating a pepper, and when I first started dating my wife, and we were
Right.
stationed in Korea, we went to a
Right.
Korean. We went to a I was gonna say Korean restaurant, but like there's like the Korean barbecue and stuff where it was all you can eat, and at the time it's like 7,000
Right.
won, which is like 650 or something, $6.50 per person, and they
Out of
bring, or
control.
you
They
can go and get up
spoiled.
bring all the meat. What?
So you really spoiled her. $6.50, bro.
Hey,
Jesus,
she found it, not me. By the way, she found it. Okay. Oh shit.
son. Take
Uh,
a look at the menu
hey,
first. Like, yo, let's do somewhere a little nicer because I actually
hey,
like you.
that's one of the things that I miss about Korea. It was so cheap to eat over there. It really was. The food was
Of course.
delicious. But so we were at this
Right.
place, and she grabbed some peppers, and they looked like the small, like regular, green peppers, not spicy. And she's like, "Yeah, have one." And
Big mistake.
I was like, "No, no," because she's like, "No, they're not spicy." And I was like, "Okay." Now she likes spicy
Clear
food,
lie.
so what's not spicy to
Yeah.
her doesn't necessarily mean it's not
It's
spicy. It's
spicy.
just not
Yep.
spicy enough, right?
Yeah.
But I think she genuinely meant that it wasn't spicy, right? But I had a bite of this pepper, and immediately, like, my jaw tensed,
Cried.
fucking broke out in
Yeah.
sweat. No, I didn't cry. No, no, I didn't cry. But I was that
It was
like whatever. What were you eating? Those potato chips, that potato chip challenge you were doing. That shit doesn't hold
uh
a candle to this biting into this pepper,
what
just
are those?
fresh.
Yeah.
The I felt the crunch. I heard it, and then that shit just exploded. And I was like, "What the fuck did I just get myself into?" And she's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "I'm just like this. Like my eyes couldn't. They were about to pop out of the sockets. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I can't even
Yeah.
replay the
Can't say
experience.
words.
It was so much pain.
Yeah.
But then I had more peppers after that. Right after it subsided, and they weren't
Yeah.
spicy. But somehow, some fucking spicy pepper, or maybe some asshole or someone, when they were putting the stuff in the trays, they put the wrong one with the non spicy
Mm-hmm.
peppers, and it fucked me up for a good like 10 minutes. It took for that shit to go away.
Oh, no, dude.
I was
The
sweating
thing
bullets.
the thing about the chips that I can't remember the name of now.
Pocky,
The thing
Pocky
about is
chips.
like the seasoning. Yeah, Pocky chips. The thing about them is that they linger because of the seasoning. So like the
Yeah,
first, like they taste really good, but okay, the second was not all right, not bad. But then like by that third, or if you watch the video that I put, like the third or fourth one,
it
you're like,
starts to catch
oh
up to you.
fuck, all of yeah, like all because the seasoning lingers in like the back of your tongue, and you can't. There's nothing you can do. Like you can try to drink water, but it's pointless at that point because it's like embedded into the fucking taste buds of your soul. You know what I mean? Like so it's sitting in there. So like
Yeah.
that's why you quit. So yeah, fuck, like I can't do spicy. Like Josh, my brother can do spicy all
Hmm.
day. He actually loves that shit. I got funny ass videos of him doing spicy at
Hmm.
this restaurant called Lime where they had sauces like salsas, they had peppers, and he did
Yeah.
like both, and it was like a seven. It's funniest shit in the world. But I can't fuck with spicy at all, bro. At all. At all.
And I mean,
It's
I'll
not my
do
thing.
it. She takes it to a different level because she tasted that pepper too, and she was like, "Oh shit, yeah, this is fire." But I've done. I remember we were in
Yeah.
Virginia one time, and Chris, my brother, was there with me, and we were at Buffalo Wild Wings, and I haven't been to B Dubs in a while, but I know they would have like that challenge, with the 10 wing challenge or
Yeah,
whatever, with
my
the
brother did
spicy
it.
sauce.
Yep.
And I'm like, let's do it.
Yep.
And I get like, I don't know, 3 or 4 wings into it. And Chris is like, nah, I was just fucking with you. I'm not doing it. I'm like, you, I don't know how many levels of heat I got into. He's like, nah, I'm not doing that shit. So,
Yeah, no, that seems like something your brother would do. That seems
yeah.
absolutely like something your brother would do.
Yeah,
But yeah, no,
Chris for sure.
my brother did that for my one weekend that we stayed down in Miami. Because I think he was still living down there at the time. It was before he went to the army.
Hey, hold
So
on.
yeah,
Hey,
he
hey,
did
so,
that shit.
who's Lisette Costantini? She's like, what is this, a cooking
That is
podcast?
Philip.
I didn't come here for recipes.
That's
She
Philip's sister-in-law. We were in the
she
army
came here
together
for
too.
political talk.
No,
I
no, she
doubt
didn't.
that.
She don't do political talk shit. Fuck out of
No, I
here.
doubt it.
Uh, but yeah, dude, that's Philip's sister-in-law. She's a trip too, man. Shout out to Lizette. But yeah, dude, I don't fuck with spicy. Fuck all that shit. Call me a bitch if you want to. I'll own it proudly when it comes to spicy
Bitch.
shit. Can't do it. There you go. See, rock it. First of all, you're a bitch too because your wife's the tougher one in that situation anyway. So just like the
We
entirety of
we
your
both eat
marriage,
we both
right?
eat more spicy than you though. I mean, like, don't
Yeah,
try
but how
to.
would you? But what scale do you have to know that you eat? Just because I tell you I don't eat spicy doesn't mean you eat more spicy than me. I could probably eat. You know what I mean? I don't. I
No, but
assume like your wife
you don't
like
need like the
thumbs
Aldi
it down for you.
salsa. You don't even need the Aldi salsa. So
I
no,
don't,
I already know
I
what
don't even
type
know
of
all these
person
head
you are
sauces.
with spicy food. Yeah,
I don't
that's
even know
because you
all
don't
these head
that
sauces. I don't go in
that's
Aldi's.
how scared you are of eating spicy foods because you don't even go down that aisle.
I'm not scared of it. It's not. It's not.
Yeah, it's
That's.
okay.
I
I
don't even
got
know
it.
all these head sauces. Is
Uh-huh.
it spicy though? For real? I'll fuck
It's
with it.
delicious.
I'll fuck with it just to
It
shoot you the
says
fuck up.
spicy. It says
I'll go buy.
medium spice, and it's not really spicy. It's
I'll,
delicious.
I'll get COVID-19 and get some fucking salsa
Uh
just to
huh.
shut you the fuck up. How about that? By the way, we're in April. We're in May now. Shouldn't it be like
Yeah.
COVID-20, or is it because we're gonna have is the next batch ever gonna be COVID-20 because it's coming right back or fuck around
Yeah, but that's where it
if it never
originated. They
leaves.
named it, you know, and
Yeah,
it's something else now. But like, what's the name of? It's COVID-19, but then the disease that you get is called or it's SARS. What
SARS
is it?
three,
SARS.
SARS three, SARS was some number
It
because
does
it's
do some.
SARS, right? It's SARS.
It's two, right? It's SARS,
Yeah,
COVID, or something two, and then COVID-19 is the actual respiratory disease.
yeah. It's
I, I,
it's fucking weird.
yeah.
It's fucking weird. Shout out to Philip though, man. God, that dude, I've never laughed so hard. That was my roommate, man. I've never laughed so hard with somebody
Uh,
at somebody in my life
hey,
while
I'm
still
glad
being
that there's
friends.
other people. I'm glad there's other people on this podcast opposed to my brother. With Eric always fucking throwing the short jokes at me, just backing you up with these short jokes.
Yeah,
We got Philip over here saying you
that's
can't
it.
even handle Panda Express, which, you know what? After you told me what you told
Hey,
me, I definitely believe it for sure.
hey,
I
now,
mean, you
hey,
probably don't even
Panda
put
Express.
black pepper on your food, dude. Let's be real. You don't even put black pepper on your food. That's too spicy for you.
I don't even purchase black pepper. What's black pepper? I only like white pepper in this house.
Yeah, I know you definitely don't eat that damn white pepper. Alright?
No, I
No.
like white pepper. This is a white. No, I do some chili lime. I do some smoked paprika. What else? There's I have some peppers, some shred like some cut up pepper shit, but
You're
nah,
just
bro, I
throwing
don't fuck
names
with
out
spicy,
there.
man.
You're just throwing names out there now.
I'm just throwing out
Paprika. I
seasonings,
do
bro.
this.
I'm just throwing out shit
You're
like
just throwing out
nobody catches it.
seasonings just to
Yeah,
make
man,
it
I'll
look
be
like
throwing
you're not fucking scared of eating spice. Come on, just own it. Own
some
it. Just
cubes in there. I'll be
be
throwing,
like the Ohio governor. Just be like Mike DeWine and say I fucked up. I can't handle spicy food. I'm a bitch. Just say it.
I'm- all right. No, I'm not gonna say that.
Ah, I
this.
just said it
I'm not
for
gonna
you.
call myself a bitch.
That's
I
all
just said
right.
you could call me a bitch. I'm not calling myself a bitch. That illegitimizes my entire life right there. If I call
So
myself a bitch, that's stupid.
you're not man enough to admit it. I got you. But we all know the
I
truth.
don't know. I told you. I've said that, dude. There's a video of me fucking
You know
dying
what the best
almost
part
with some
is?
from the chips.
The best
I
part
want
is
the
that
one chip though.
Javi's over here laughing his ass off about how weak you are
That's,
on your spice game.
that's
He doesn't know what you're
all
saying,
right.
but he hears
That's
me talking shit. The fact that my 11-year-old
no.
is laughing at you so hard, that makes my
Dude. He's
that
never.
you still
Here's
can't own
like,
it.
look. Now let's talk about something. Let's talk about something. Your son's never found you funny. All right. Let's
Hey, according to Lizette, you handle little peppers in your pants. Damn.
That's
Damn, that's rough.
that just got weird. That just got
Damn.
weird. That just got weird.
Also,
I hope she
also,
never.
you're whiter than
I'm
Mary
not gonna.
Riley, apparently, or maybe that's me. I don't know.
What? You know, definitely you, John. You're
Not on the
definitely the white
inside,
person
man.
in this.
Not on the inside.
Trying to get which you're because you have no soul, dude. You gotta you gotta
I'm
watch
not a
Upload, though,
ginger.
man,
Come on.
because they have all. You have all because they have. That's what I was about to say. They have all these ginger AIs, and then they have no soul, and then you see like the ginger stare at the camera, and you
Uh
can
huh.
tell he has no soul behind his eyes. It's a fucking trip.
Yeah. We're
My
gonna have one
dog's
of
back
those
in
on
the room.
Wednesday, Steven.
Yeah, we are, man. Steven. Yo, happy birthday to Steven. He's probably not gonna watch this far in, but because he's celebrating his birthday, man. But happy, I think it's his 34th, bro. Happy 34th birthday, you fuck, you
Damn.
non-connected beard.
I was about to ask you.
Yeah,
He's 34. How long has he been homeless?
he the
How
way
long?
with the way his beard looks,
Yeah.
dude. Shout out to him being in Chattanooga, Tennessee, taking a nice little trip for his
Oh, it's
birthday,
a
though,
nice
man.
spot.
We're not gonna
Yeah.
shit on him too much. I'll shit on him on Wednesday because it's you know what I mean. It won't be. I won't shit on him too much today. But happy birthday to
Yeah.
my cousin, man. And just for the record, Josh Diaz, he is not your favorite cousin. I'm his favorite cousin. It's just your birthday. He has to say that. It's political correctness. All right, let's just call it what it is, man. But yeah, dude. Yeah. So, on Wednesday we'll have Steven on the podcast. Robert Steven Diaz. We're gonna talk about UFC 249 happening finally. A crazy card. Looking forward to that conversation. But yeah, man,
That shit
we'll
is
see
happening
about that
Saturday,
shit. But
right? Damn.
next Saturday, bro, May 9th, yeah, day before Mother's Day. I'm actually gonna on Sunday. I'm actually gonna travel out to see my mom for Mother's Day. Is it weird that I'm gonna like thinking about wearing a mask to see my own mom, or is that something I just got to be okay with? I'm trying to figure that out.
No, I think
Like
your
if I
mom's
get
been wanting you to
cold,
wear a mask for years. You ugly fuck.
yeah. Yo, shout out to the fact that I saw a meme yesterday. I saw a meme yesterday, and it was these three gorillas, right? And like, it says like three gorillas escaped from the zoo or whatever. And then like because it was an actual headline, most have been found. I was like, what the fuck you mean most? So if not all, then there's one just out there. Like, wait, there's just one out there hanging out. Let's do a better job of tracing these steps and finding
Right?
all gorillas. Have you not
Jesus.
seen what the fuck they can do? Most gorillas have been found. That was a fucking trip, bro. But yeah, man. Obviously, gonna as soon as we get off this podcast, I'm gonna go look into the bikes. What was it? It wasn't bikes direct. It was bikes
Bikes
online.
online.
And
Yeah,
look at the poly.
bikesonline.com.
But yeah, look into that shit. I don't think Philip knows. I don't think Philip knows how to ride a bike. I know Lizette can't reach the pedals even on a child bike because she's like on a good day. She's a short Mexican. She's like 4'9",
Uh huh.
so she can't. You know what I mean? Like I think she'd have to do training wheels. So got to figure that one out. But yeah, dude, I'm looking forward to having Steven on the podcast on Wednesday. You got anything else with that? Yo, is that a real shirt or is that like something you bought at a store? Like
Aerosol.
aerosol?
I got that when I was deployed. I got it when I was in Afghanistan. You know they fucking raising money for whatever the unit was,
Oh,
and I was
okay.
deployed with I was deployed with them. So yeah, that's something that they sold, and I bought a couple of them because I didn't wear my I didn't wear my PTs when I was like downrange. I didn't wear my
Right.
PT uniform. I just wore a tan T-shirt with my PT shorts, or one of these with my PT shorts.
Yeah.
People didn't like that, or I mean, our whole team didn't wear it. I just said, "Fuck it, we're just gonna do this." And the officer I was there with, we just decided, yeah, we don't have to wear PTs. We're good. Um, what
Yeah.
this
Fuck.
we'll do with the other with the I think the contract or there's some SF guys on there. So what those SF guys were doing, and fuck it, we'll just wear tan T-shirts. We're good. But we had the freedom to
Yeah.
decide what it was that we were doing and how we were running our operation. So not a big deal.
That's cool. That's cool. I'm trying to get my brother to send me one of his army long sleeve shirts because you know it's black and gold now. So I'm trying to get him to send me one of those so I can start wearing it on the podcast because I like wearing my long sleeve shirts on the show. So I'm not constantly looking at my tattoos and shit. I'm trying to get more of those, but with social
But
distancing, I can't get
all we
tattoos.
see is your big ass head anyway on the show. So why are you gonna wear a long sleeve shirt? All we see
I've
is your
honestly thought about
forehead.
just not.
All we see right
Honestly,
now
I've
is
thought about just
forehead.
not wearing shirts. All you see is my
Hmm.
fucking floating head anyway. so it wouldn't
Yeah.
matter. So I'm trying to figure it out.
No,
Sometimes I
man.
don't even wear pants for these shits. Like,
That's too much information. I didn't need to know that.
it's a really comfortable chair on my bare ass. What were you gonna say?
Oh, speaking of short Mexican, by the way, Philip says Lizette is 5'1". Uh, but you talking about short Mexican. What's your I saw one of your cousins or a family member after one of the last podcasts talk about when are you going to do it in Spanish?
Oh, that was my
Who?
that's my cousin Tito. Yeah, Humberto de Leon. That motherfucker
See?
there. Where I when we do that, we have to do that. I'll have to get Josh Diaz on the podcast and my
Mm-hmm.
mom. So it's
See,
you know
claro.
what I mean. So it's four of us talking Spanish. So like my lack of Spanish doesn't come through
No,
so
pero
much. You
no
know what I
van a
mean?
ser
Like,
cuatro. Vamos a ser tres de nosotros hablando español y tú.
no, yo voy a estar, yo lo que voy a estar haciendo es transmitiendo el español al inglés. Oh, this is from my white friends. This is what my family just said.
It's
Oh
gonna
man,
be
it's a struggle. I do got to practice Spanish though.
yeah,
I for sure have to practice more Spanish. So we should probably, you know what we should do? Once a month, because we do what, 8 podcasts a month. Once a month, we should do a Spanish podcast.
yeah,
How
for
would you
sure.
say man chatter is the name of it, right? Because you can't do man chatter as a Spanish translation. Man chatter en español, right? Would be the way to do it.
No, I think we'll just translate. Man, you know how some stuff in Spanish doesn't or English they don't translate directly. Like they just don't. So we'll just change it completely. We won't call it man chatter. We'll just say el gordiflón
No, we're not doing
out of
that.
love. I'm sure your mom called you that when you were growing up.
If we're gonna do that, it's
El
gonna be la flaca,
cabezón,
right?
el gordo de la. Oh shit! No, no. But I'd rather be la flaca than el gordo. So maybe we'll do it. Oh, why not?
You would be la flaca since you're gender neutral. It'd be el gordo,
Gender
el
fluid. Come on, you gotta
cabezón
get
y
it
el
right.
enano. No, I know what I said. You're gender neutral. You're trying to figure out what you are. Um, so it'd be el gordo y el enano, or el cabezón y el enano.
El
That
cabezón
would
y
that
el
would be the
enano.
good one.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm good with
chiquitico.
it.
Yeah, no, it'd be man chatter en español. We should do that though, for real. One podcast a month we should do in Spanish. Legit.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a struggle. I'm gonna be honest. It's gonna be a struggle for me because it'll probably be the most I talk Spanish besides when I talk with my mom. But
Yeah.
it'd be good to do.
We're gonna be on for 4 hours, and we're gonna get like 20 minutes of content because it's gonna take you so long to say shit in Spanish.
Yeah, it's weird because like I could understand everything, but just my brain, my like Spanish brain is like is 100% dial up. Like I know we talk about a lot of
Just
shit.
like
My
your
internet
internet,
is,
for
but
sure.
like it's not. Yeah, it's AOL. It's like the little yellow guy going. Eh. It's the worst, bro.
Your Spanish is like any 3 or 4 year old just learning any language, or just there like
Exactly. No,
quiero
it's worse because like at 3 or
comida.
¿Dónde
How do
está
you
la
say?
biblioteca? El baño.
El
Wait a minute.
baño?
Baño? What's an Enye?
What is that
Why is
sound?
two L's pronounced
No.
like that? Yeah. Why is it yo? What's going on here? Why is the G pronounced like a J? Anyways, but yeah, man. So like I said, Wednesday we'll have Robert Steven Diaz to talk about UFC 249 and how his trip was to Chattanooga, Tennessee. My brother, that's all I got. You got anything else for the people? I'm sure somebody
Yeah,
commented some
I
shit.
I definitely
Okay.
got something out there, and I don't want to leave this unsaid
Ah,
because
first of all, who's it from?
Mary Riley says, "Have
Okay,
you
all
seen
right.
Phillips? I think this came out wrong. I think I know what she meant to say. Have you seen Phillips' trampoline stamp? She must be using
Yeah,
speech to text.
trampoline stamp. I'm pretty sure. No, I haven't because that'd be weird. I don't remember it, but I'm pretty sure it's just his wife's last name because she owns that ass.
Also,
Pow.
Lisette says you're so slow because you only have half a brain. She's
No,
not. She's not
it's
wrong.
a small brain inside a big shell. And it's a small brain inside a big shell, so it takes a long time for things to communicate.
And, yeah,
Fuck you,
and
Lizette.
surprise! Guess who made it on? The least favorite cousin, who wants to know who went to Chattanooga.
That was the pictures of it. Unless it was like an old picture.
That looks like an old picture because I think he still had hair
Yeah,
and his beard didn't
yeah.
look like he was homeless.
Oh, that's right. I didn't do analysis on the picture. He still had a full tape. He didn't fully shave his head. My bad,
Yeah.
Steve. I thought you were able to get out during this quarantine, man. That sucks. Hope you enjoy your quarantine birthday, my brother. John, you got anything else? We had good comments today from the Facebook fam.
We
Appreciate the hate. Appreciate the time y'all took to watch the actual show, man.
Yeah, look, appreciate it. Those of you guys that are unfortunately friends of Benjamin or that you have somehow,
All right.
run into
Don't
him
say
at some
that.
point in your life, I feel for you. I know the
They're
pain
good.
because I've known him for 22 years now, and it's painful to even do this show on a day-to-day basis, to get messages from him on WhatsApp every day. Like this
Yeah.
dude is sending me messages at 1 in the morning about a fucking bike, and I'm just trying to sleep. But
Yeah. And
we
you
do
were
what we
watching
can.
it, and then you watched it. You sent me videos first. You fuck. 23 years in. Fuck.
Listen, don't cut me off. I'm speaking. So, anyway, as I was saying, if you guys enjoyed the show, if you had a good time, if you laughed, share it with your friends, family. Post it on your social media. Let other people listen to Benjamin's story about how he can't handle his spice. He doesn't walk down the fucking Aldi aisle because he's scared of their salsa. He's scared of their mango salsa.
Sure.
By the way, this is a man who says he'll take any
I fuck,
spice and he's scared of Aldi mango salsa. All right. Also,
I fuck with mango.
if you're looking forward to the Spanish episode, ya tú sabes, este hombre no habla español. We're gonna have a good time.
You,
That's
sound-
all
you
I
sound like
got,
a
man.
fucking reporter.
I'm
You
trying to
sound like
sound
a
like
reporter
Pitbull.
from Korea.
Ya tú sabes, ya tú sabes. Dale.
Wasn't gonna. Yo, we didn't even get. Did we even talk about the fact that Oklahoma's so stupid that their state vegetable is a fruit? How
Bro,
is
did you? I don't
Oklahoma's
think we
state
did.
vegetable a fucking watermelon? No, that's.
I
I
don't know,
think
bro.
that's where we should leave it. We'll discuss it on the next one. Oklahoma, watermelon is a fruit, bro, not a vegetable. Get your shit together. I'm out. I'm done.
I'm
I got
out.
nothing else after that.